Welcome to Cinema Discussions. Tonight we are discussing Don't Breathe, the new American horror film directed by Fede Alvarez. And I am John. I'm joined by Vaughan.
Vaughan, senior post-Gulf War correspondent.
Sure. Yeah, that works.
It'll make sense if you watch the rest of it.
So before we get into the in-depth into the details of this movie, we're going to give you our recommendation for the film. So how would you recommend this to the viewers?
I wouldn't consider myself an expert, but I'm fairly seasoned in scary movies, horror movies, violent movies.
Mm-hmm.
This, I was very much engaged throughout the whole movie. So I would strongly recommend it.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this one for a little while, just from the first initial scenes in the trailer, and purposely tried not to watch anything else in the trailer to not know too much about the film.
Yeah, you got to be really careful with trailers nowadays.
They're so horrible, especially with films like this. I just didn't want to know what was going on for the rest of it. It looked too interesting just from the initial premise. Yeah. So I was interested, and I think I'm pleased with what I saw. I've watched as many horror films as any other film, just in the course of seeing a ton of movies. I'm not necessarily, I don't generally like horror as much as other ones, mostly because so many of them have so many supernatural elements that if they're done well, I'm fine with it as a good fantasy film like anything else. But it's the horror isn't really there because it's unreal. Yeah. And I like a film where they're grounded in reality and it just is about fringe people, but things that could conceivably happen in the world.
So you're thinking more like what Rob Zombie likes doing.
Yeah. I appreciate his interpretation of Halloween because I watched that film and thought this could actually happen.
Oh yeah. Same with Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
The weird family over there, and Lords of Salem.
Yeah, and then aside from that,
reality.
I think this is another one of those films that works as a great suspense film that isn't so reliant on the horror storytelling of it. I think it does the horror elements well, but unlike it's different than Fede Alvarez's last film of Evil Dead, which was a remake of the classic essentially. But that had so much gruesome violence in it and stuff, and
true.
This one does push the envelope on a lot of elements, but it is
no gore.
Yeah, it is. It's not really. It's not like that one at all. This is a much more down to earth, real film, but has good suspense in it and a good story in it as well. So I definitely recommend it to audiences. I think it's still going to be something that if you're I don't know, prudish in a way, a little. If you don't like any bits of extreme violence in some ways, or it can get out of hand for some people that wouldn't be able to handle it. It is an R film. And it's an R horror film in that way, so it's not the
trigger warnings.
Yeah, trigger warnings, I guess. It's not the craziest of crazy, but there is stuff that some people could have trouble handling.
I think the twist in this one, I'm not going to get close to it.
Yeah,
but that twist is like.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's one of those things that
probably bother.
And we'll get into the spoiler alert now on it, but it's one of those things.
Not yet.
Well, I was just saying, even saying twist in a film is an unfortunate thing because then you're just waiting for it the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
all too often, especially any kind of suspenseful movie, they will almost tell you what the twist is in the trailer, and because that'll be the most interesting part. In the TV spots on this, I'm looking away, I'm not, so I'm still hearing it, and I'm hearing them say, a twist that you won't even believe, and so, and it's similar to putting M. Night Shyamalan's name on a movie. Like, that one, it's going to suck, and two, that there's going to be a dumb twist in it. Yeah.
And the last two films he did, he didn't do that. And I don't know, I didn't see the Grandma House thing. Whatever.
I didn't
so in the few that he didn't, I think the twist is that he didn't put a dumb twist in it. But it's one of those things that if you're just waiting for it the whole time, you're like, what's the where is this going? Or you're looking for it in there. So anyway, I think that can get into it. But I think, now so recommend the film. So now
pretty good recommendation.
Yeah. So now let's get into this. Spoiler alert. Full spoiler alert in the film. The main premise of the whole film is people who are robbing houses to get money to move to California. And robbing
these three kind of hoodlums in Detroit. The abandoned suburbs of Detroit, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. And so they're smart about it, and in enough that one, they've got the connection to a insurance or a security company.
Private security.
Yeah, private security. So they have backup keys to people's houses, and they know that there's some level of insurance on these houses that they've got. They're stealing.
Stuff like that. They keep their crimes to a petty crime level.
Yeah, so that if they do get caught, they are not committing felony.
Yeah,
they're making sure of that in everything they do. So
it's like they're mostly doing breaking and entering, and then just getting stuff that they can
and they know
afterwards.
They know because they know how to get around the security system. They get into the house, shut off the security system, leave the house, and break the window as they're leaving, so that it can be reported that they know that it was something, but not that it wasn't them. I don't know.
I guess that the cops might think it could have been anybody, but I would think that somebody maybe eventually would have noticed hey, these specific houses seem to be getting hit a lot more.
You do anything long enough, any of these crimes long enough, and they're gonna get caught. You find that in any good crime movie, but if you do them. Spread them out far enough and do them in a random enough pattern, and you're the Zodiac killer. So you can get away with it.
Oh yeah, there are definitely ways to disguise the patterns, but eventually people who are smart enough can figure out a pattern.
So, like with any good series of movies about career criminals, or about even a career law enforcement, we join these people as they're one job away from retirement. They are about to do their last job. Yeah, that's how you do it. Just one more job, and this is going to be the big score. Yeah. But this one, they are planning on taking more money.
They've kind of pieced together this. What they're thinking is going to be a big score. They don't really know for sure.
Yeah, they're thinking this guy lives by himself, got a large settlement, and isn't spending any of this money.
Yeah, it hasn't spent much of it,
as far as they can tell.
Yeah, he kept it all in cash because that's the only way the story works.
Because they haven't been in the house, so you could go in that house and it could be teched out and just the most amazing, every gadget, the most expensive stuff, and he's blown it all inside.
He blew it all on that.
Yeah, but outside, at least from what they've seen,
he's like the last guy living in this neighborhood, which is typical for.
So they don't have to worry about neighbors causing noise or any of that stuff.
Yeah, because they clearly have no problem shooting guns off all the time, and nobody is around to give a shit.
Yeah, no, they set that up that there's no one else around, so they don't need to worry about noise, except when they find out that he's a blind guy and he's not leaving the house. So their thought is, okay, he's not leaving the house. That's generally bad, but he's blind. So if we're quiet enough, we can potentially rob him while he's still in the house. And they even have the plan of using chloroform gas to knock him out.
Yeah, apparently that didn't go so well.
Nah, it didn't go so well. But I guess it would seem like it's something they've done in the past. I don't know.
The guy who is the leader of the trio, codename Money.
Yeah,
I guess. Okay.
I guess his birth name is Money. That's not his.
Okay.
He's given no other name in this movie.
Yeah, the guy is apparently not that dumb. Somebody has either told him or he knew enough about basic chemistry to kind of know that this is something that happens.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess that can work.
Seemed to work out.
Because second lead male is clearly the smartest of the trio.
Yes. But not the alpha male, so he doesn't get to do his way. And so Money even screws things up too by bringing a gun to the situation, as Rocky,
which does make it a felony.
Yeah, as Rocky points out.
Yeah, because second male wanted to get out of it.
Yeah,
when he saw that, like, oh, this is going to be bigger than our level of crime.
He already seemed to want out even before they picked the next crime. He was just seemed to be done with it. They say what the crime is. Like, I can't do this. But eventually, because of his love for Rocky, decides to go on on this mission, and keeps going back every time he gets away from it.
Unrequited love is a good way to get yourself killed.
Yep. But it's a motivating factor, and that works for him. Whereas Rocky's motivation is just getting away and taking her. Is that her stepsister? Yeah, some relation, small child away from her mother. Yeah. Because her mother's no good, and just gotta move away. So that's her motivation, is for herself and for this girl. And then Rocky's Money's motivation is money, I guess, because as his namesake.
Sure.
I think his is pure greed. He at least enjoys Rocky, you know. He likes that she is his. Then that get it from that.
That's probably about it.
Yeah. But there doesn't seem to be the at least as far as we see, a deep love connection there. And while Rocky, is at least doesn't hate Alex. I think Alex, the other guy. I'm just reading from the cast. I wouldn't say she's in love with him the same way.
Friend zone.
Yeah. So they've got their motivations each for the heists that are well in there. And then we know that something is up with this guy when we see first he's got tons of
locks on everything.
Yeah, and didn't give backups to the security company, so doesn't trust them.
Yeah,
good.
It's got a huge dog.
I mean,
got bars on all the windows.
Yeah, so I mean, bars on the windows and extra locks. Living in Detroit, in a bad neighborhood, I completely see all of that. Especially when you're blind, you got to take some extra precautions too.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, of course. But he's also ex-military.
They said Gulf War veteran.
Yeah.
I think I heard them say that he lost the eyes. During the tour. That's he gets discharged and gets a big settlement. He had a daughter in the past.
Yes.
Which Money finds out inexplicably during some kind of research that he did. Kind of surprised by that. His daughter was like the kind of guy to do research.
Maybe this is why we don't know about him. When he's casing places to rob, everyone has their area of interest, and they're going to dive into that. So if he gets interested in robbing rich people,
he also knew enough to put a little spy camera on a fence across the street.
Put a little GoPro up there and time lapse set it up. So the interesting thing with the time lapse setting on there is it showed that it was going pretty fast. So there were a lot of
blasting through the videos. I think.
Well, there's a lot of frame that could be, because if he had set it up, if you do the GoPro settings and you set up, what rate that you're taking a picture. So if he's taking a picture every 30 minutes on it, that's a lot of gap time. And for him to say that he never leaves the house. So the blind man could have had some. The dog could have barked and noticed that when he got there in the first place. I don't know, something, because he couldn't have seen him. But either known that, or just dumb luck every time that he left the house, or went, because he had to take the dog around because he's taking the dog out, and the other times just happened to fall in those intervals.
No matter how long he leaves the house, statistically that's a pretty good chance he's not leaving at that minute. Is taking a picture. Like really good chance.
Yeah, if it were just straight filming, or even doing a frame every second. So I'm not sure how much it was doing on there, but it seemed to be that it played through multiple days within.
It scrolled through like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So logically, that part didn't work.
Yeah. So he didn't do a great job with the spy camera, but so I think it still works within the context of the film that he screwed up.
Yeah, like unless you notice that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like us.
That's my thought. Well, my thought is in noticing it is that the character screwed up.
Yeah.
In that setting, he wanted to set it for so much of a time, but didn't think about that you're not going to catch him in that amount of time.
Yeah.
But so his daughter got run over by a rich woman, so got all the money from that. And then it's when we find out that that the woman who ran over his daughter is being locked up down in the basement. I knew something crazy had to be going on with him.
Did not see that coming.
Saw-esque thing.
I knew something had to be down there, but I think that was a great way to do it. And from the first second I saw her, I realized she was pregnant.
Okay.
She looked pregnant to me just pregnant enough that she barely looked it. So when they revealed, when that was a reveal, it wasn't to me. It didn't take me.
I guess I didn't notice it over the parachute vest.
Yeah, I mean, she had a lot on. There was a lot covering it, and so it was easy to not notice it. But and also I instantly knew his motivation by having her tied up there was to give.
Hearing him explain it was also pretty creepy.
It was super creepy, but it came from a place of logic, even though it's flawed logic.
Messed up logic, but
it's no amount of money is going to bring my daughter back.
Straightforward logic.
No amount of money is going to bring my daughter back, but you can give me a daughter as a replacement. So now I will take a daughter from you, and then you can go and be about your life.
Yeah.
He also made the thing of he doesn't consider what he did rape, at least. He says it's not rape, but he inseminated someone against their will.
Yeah, artificially.
Yeah. I don't know what your definition of rape is, but I'd count that. I'd count it. Yeah. Because it's still, the turkey baster's still going in there. I count that as rape, you know? And it's so it's one you get told
the amount of forethought by this guy.
Yeah,
like wow,
it's intense. So when we get told what happened to the first girl, and like the sadness over her dying, and he was crying over his unborn daughter or unborn child, is dumb way of knowing what gender he inseminated with. So he mourns over that, but so you hear what happened to her, and on an emotional connection you can connect with it on some way of knowing I get what happened, that was terrible. But then to actually see it when Rocky gets tired,
he's about to start all over again.
Yeah, and the audience reaction as he pulls out the jar and the turkey baster.
Yeah. As he in the slow-mo of him walking up to her, getting a close-up of him holding the face, you're like,
because that is, there are not a lot of movies that deal with that much semen.
I mean, besides that,
there's something about Mary a little bit in there, but it's like it's not something that's so often depicted in films, and it was a lot of it, and used in a variety of ways. He's got to warm it up first. Like it's all very clinical, but I loved hearing the audience reaction because they were just disgusted.
When you get to that part, that's why I started questioning a little bit. Like, how far is Fahey going to go with this?
Yeah.
Is that how you say his name? Because it's spelled kind of weird.
Yeah, it's Fede. Keep saying Fede.
Fede.
It would be Freddy, but...
Fede is somebody else.
Yeah.
Fede.
Alvarez.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, how far is he going to go with this?
Because, had you seen his Evil Dead movie? movie? Yeah. Because of that and the tree rape scene, which is a remake of original classic tree rape scene, but still very graphic. And so because of that, I knew that he would go far in movies, and just as far as he can think of in his films. So this film is so subdued and all based in reality, but he still went so far in a way that's not seen in other films. So it's going to stand out in your mind.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's terrifying and horrible to see that on screen, but it's not graphic in a way that you're not seeing any nudity on her part.
No,
you're not seeing any nudity on his part.
Nobody's.
You were just seeing her pants are cut, and you're seeing your goop in a turkey baster, and the turkey baster going towards her and hearing reactions with that. Then you see as she knocks it.
It cuts to her, and then all of a sudden, right at the moment you think he's going to do it, you see a little of the blood on her face.
Yeah, and then as he is murdered with the or choked with the turkey baster, and she squeezes it into him. The most graphic of the audience reactions. And you see bits of it flying around, and it's such a graphic scene that I think so many people are going to have so much of a worse reaction than gore and blood. It's because of the sexual nature of it. It's that kind of thing where, classically, violence is always more accepted in American cinema and television.
Violence is pretty much a given.
Yeah, but violence gets a less harsh rating than sexuality does. And so now
we're messed up like that.
And this is being violent with sexual liquids, but not even body parts. It's just the liquids. But I think that is what it's a surprising thing where this I can easily see this being an NC-17.
That close.
Yeah, if it was not done with the turkey baster, it would definitely be an NC-17. But it's one of those things where I want to see the review board knowing the way that the review
who knows what goes through the MPAA?
Because they're all terrible people, and I hate them all. If you haven't seen this film, is not yet rated, where they track them down. Just the thought of making them watch this scene, and I would just love to be in that room and be like, yes, you have to watch this.
They are literally a cabal of these people who invented the ratings.
Yeah, and it's just going based on what they think when they watch the movie.
Whatever they think. In any case.
Yeah. So I'm surprised it's a surprising thing it got in the film. But
the other really good moment, in the very beginning, you have the foreshadowing of him dragging Rocky by the hair down the street.
Well, not even just foreshadowing. They just show you that moment in the film.
Yeah, it's wherever this moment happens to be later on in the story.
She's leaving a trail of blood as he's dragging her through the street. Yeah, she was...
I thought that was the street.
That's what it looked like, but if you look closely at it, because after a couple, feet of dragging her, I was looking up ahead, there's nothing. And then behind her there is, and then there continues to be that streak. So the dark contrast makes it look that it's up, and I'm colorblind, so any tinge.
Because it looks like the black asphalt filler.
Just tar on the street, filling in a crack. And that's what I thought it could be at first, and I wanted to check. But it looked to me to be blood. At least a subtle trail of blood.
Yeah, it's to the Blu-ray.
Yeah. It could be wrong.
All right. Anyway, so when we finally get to that scene in the normal progression of the story,
after he's trying to escape and fought off the dog in the car.
Yeah, now he's got her back in the basement by herself. I was ready for that to be leading up to the bad ending of the movie.
Yeah,
is where our veteran is gets all three of them.
You've killed everyone else. as far as we've seen, you've shot or stabbed the guy with the scissors, but they did the creative
head trimmers.
Yeah, they did the creative scene there, so he felt the stabbing and everything, but he's blind. So because you're seeing the stabbing from the blind man's point of view, it allows them to lie to you in that way that he didn't pull the other body over and have that stabbed.
I saw that coming, but clever.
Yeah, it was a clever thing, but I was still, it's still a possibility that it could have happened, and also in that moment he could have killed the guy. I'm excited as they're killing off characters in the film.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, they're gonna kill it. So he's dead, and now she's caught, and we're done.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do have the other.
I thought it was gonna be a bad ending.
Yeah. So you've got him saving the day in the end of it, and they are able to survive.
Well, she is.
Yeah, she's able to survive.
Yeah, he's just old Rocky.
Get the sacrifice in there. Alex takes a huge beating throughout the film, just so many times.
Like three of them.
I mean, Rocky also doesn't do too well when she escaping from the dog in the roof or in the
crawl space.
Yeah, in the crawl space and falls through, which also is kind of foreshadowed in there when they are panning up from the first floor to the second floor.
Oh yeah, like the X-ray shot.
And so you see through that space, and when you see that space, something's gonna happen in there, and they show the gun under the bed. This film really sets up everything and shows you everything that's going to come into play later on in the film, and so it's not just down the line. This happens to be there, and then happens to be able to be there. Right? They show the skylight when they first enter the room, and then that comes into play later.
As far as that, I think my one sticking point on this is when our soldier is handcuffed in the little padded cell down there, but he in the space of a couple of minutes he manages to break that steel cable and get upstairs to shoot Alex.
Yeah,
that seems a little too convenient.
He possibly could have known where some tools are down there.
Maybe,
that others wouldn't have.
Unless outside of that, he would have had to brute force it.
Yeah,
it's like, how can he do that in a couple of minutes when he's had that lady tied up in there for like 6 or 7 months?
Yeah, that was the probably
a little too convenient, but good for a shock.
Yeah, it was convenient on there. I agree with that, but there's all sorts of things. Maybe he was a magician before he went into the service.
Well, if they had shown him dislocating his thumb, I would believe that.
Yeah, because that's a quick and easy way to get him.
But they handcuffed his left hand too.
Yeah,
I think he was right-handed.
Yeah, so I didn't see anything with that.
Yeah.
If that's how he got out, I would think that they would have put something in there. But maybe again, that's a Blu-ray thing. If you look at it, his thumb's dangling there or something.
After he takes that shot that hits Alex, you do see his left hand on the door frame, and you can see the handcuff on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's he had to break that cable somehow.
Yeah. So
I don't know. One little sticking point.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the convenience factor in there.
Yeah.
The other thing, I am also confused as to how Rocky knew the code for the safe.
When she was hiding in the closet?
Yeah, because she hears him put it in, but all the tones are the same.
That's because you're colorblind. so the little LCD screen on the safe is red, and she can see the numbers on there.
No, but she could see the screen?
Yeah.
No, because I saw this.
There is a shot from her perspective looking up right as he walks away.
Because I saw the screen.
It's on the display just long enough to see 2978.
All right. I saw that the screen was up, that it showed it on the screen, but I didn't see that she saw that. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it was like a 2-second POV shot.
Okay, and that's all it needed.
Looking up on top of that shelf.
Cool.
Yeah.
Close.
I guess you can't see red.
No, I can.
Right?
I can see. I can see that. I can see what was on the screen there. So that was fine. What I can't see is the logo for Matthew Vaughn's production company. Just annoying because it made it look like a colorblind test.
Yeah.
I think it's Marv is what it is, but I had to look it up online. This is just annoying. But yeah, so I could see that, but I didn't see the angle that she saw that.
Okay.
So that's good.
Yeah, it was like 2 seconds.
I'm fine with everything else in the movie. I think this is solid. Any other points, things that you really liked in the movie?
Yeah, I think we covered all the really interesting points.
Yeah, I like the way that they took out people's cell phones. You got the one that was smashed, the one that died. They said, my cell phone's dead. I can't use the flashlight on it, and then the other one was shot. So we've got them all out, and that there's no way for them to call for help or call the police, and that the only way that they can get the police there is by activating the alarm system. And I like that. She activated the alarm, and then takes a while to get out of there because she has to take him down again, and is able to escape, barely escaping the police getting there.
Yeah. And
then the ending I absolutely loved, when they're in the airport and see the story.
And, dude survives.
Yeah, he's still out there and says that they didn't escape. No one escaped with stole anything, and there were only 2 attackers who were both dead. So he doesn't tell them about her and doesn't tell them about the money, and survives. So you have no police involvement in his revenge.
And nobody's going to be looking for her.
Yep. So it's just a matter of I'd have to see the film again to see if she mentions going to California, or if to give away any details in there, or maybe if was it Alex's phone that was dead? If it was if the dead cell phone is still there, or just getting the SIM card from the smashed cell phone, if he can get information from one of the cell phones that's left there to track her down in some way. Because there's no way to know what she looks like.
There might be that information in text messages, but it doesn't happen on screen.
No.
They verbally talk about this California idea.
But even if they can find her name, he has the possibility of tracking her down. Something about her.
He would have to find the phones again first.
It is a long, complicated way for him to get back, but it is potential that there is information there. But they did leave it open that he is alive and can get back at her. So whether or not they choose to do a sequel or not,
it'll be the sequel. Don't breathe here.
Yeah, I think it was the #1 movie at the box office on the opening weekend. Made $30 million out of a $9.9 million budget.
Pretty low.
So super. So small budget has already made triple its budget, which is cause for sequel in Hollywood, especially with horror films. So they could potentially do a sequel to this. If it's a rush sequel, it's not going to be good. But
don't inhale.
Yeah. Blind Justice, I think, is I've been wanting that to be the name of something.
Justice is Blind.
Yeah, but as he gets revenge, so it's if you do it from his point of view in that way, or
that would just be a black screen.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole time.
I thought it was interesting the way they did it, because they had the one scene where they turned all the lights out, and they did it in a kind of grayscale, low light situation thing, but you're seeing it as the scene you're supposed to be seeing is pitch black. So they could have just done it pitch black, and audiences would have not liked it. For the party, I would have been interested in it.
It would have been fun from like a movie nerd perspective.
Yeah, I went back and watched the first couple episodes of Daredevil on Netflix, because they put all of the
new Daredevil.
Yeah, the new Daredevil. Okay. They intentionally boosted the audio descriptions for the visually impaired for those episodes, because it deals with a blind protagonist. So I wanted to hear those descriptions, see what it would be like, and so just listen to it with that. And it was interesting, and so I would. This is one of those scenes where if I rewatched it, I would just close my eyes in that scene and see how much I can gather from it. Although my memory of the scene is going to still play into it, but it's one of those things where that scene becomes interesting for it. And because they're in the basement, or the settler, you don't have ambient light entering in any way for our heroes to adjust their eyesight over time. Because even in, if they're going, shut off all the lights and you've got a little bit of moonlight entering in through a window in some way, there's the ability to adjust your vision to it, and then they'll be fine. But in this way, I think they've sealed off enough.
That particular room had only the two inside doors.
Yeah.
The one inside door is the one that leads to the ladder where that light was, yes, but that door was closed. And the door that leads to the storm door,
and they've shut
that one was closed too. Yeah, so this room is completely dark.
Yeah, and you shut the power off so you're not leaking in any light in any way from that too. So I thought that was interesting, but then as they get the power back on, and it's just that scene that everyone's on a level playing field, or not really. They're disadvantaged because
they're still disadvantaged
because he lives in the dark and it's his place. So he's advantaged. That's true.
But so the guy playing the old dude, they trained him pretty well at how to move around as a blind person. He feels for landmarks in the room as he's going along.
It seemed
he feels the little table fan. He feels the beam on the roof. Feels different landmarks as he's walking around.
Yeah, as a person with sight, it seemed to work for me. But then again, can't really tell necessarily. And then if I get a blind expert in, then can't really see to tell how he's acting. But so it seemed pretty good. I enjoyed his performance, and I thought he was really good. And this is only the second film from Mr. Alvarez as a director, so it's interesting to see where he'll go from here, because I think both of them are solid movies. And
it looked like they kept some of the same leadership from Evil Dead 2014 to this one.
Yeah.
Or was it 2014, whatever you're
Well, it's produced by Sam Raimi as well.
Yeah, Sam Raimi.
I'm sure there's other production crew that are involved with it as well. It's got iconic moments in the film that still stick in your mind, and it seemed very original. So which is apart from Evil Dead being a remake, so he's also shown good range within the horror genre, but two completely different films.
He's got a lot of similar to Joss Whedon, the knack for making really distinctive, greatly planned out shots.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see what he does next, and hopefully it'll be something I'm interested in. And maybe someday if he'll do something that's not horror, just to branch out in that kind of way. Not that he has to. I mean, if he keeps doing horror films and does good ones, then I'm fine with that too. But just like seeing good directors do different things. So what would you star rate this?
Tough choice. Among other horror movies, I give this like a 4.5. I would say movies at large. Somewhere between 4 and 4.5.
Okay.
Really, really solid.
Yeah, I think
I would probably own this.
I'm about a 4 on this one, and I don't know if I would own it necessarily, but I mean maybe it kind of seems if they do other things from here, where it stands in history is the kind of thing. I think looking back, in time it might stand to be one of those, because it's still not like I own the Cabin in the Woods is one of my staple horror film, even though it parodies horror, but that is just classic in there. And this one's a much simpler and smaller film than that. But I think it has potential to one day earn a spot in my collection.
Yeah, I think this has a pretty good shot of holding up long term. I
think it also depends on where Alvarez goes from here, and if he becomes, the next Sam Raimi, I guess, just a standout as a director, then this is definitely an early telling sign that he knows what he's doing.
I would. I would happily watch all the behind-the-scenes stuff on this one.
Oh yeah.
Most movies I couldn't care less.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. Back in the early days of DVDs was listening to all the director's commentaries and watching all the special features on it. I loved my favorite movies just watching that. And
most movies really don't need that.
No, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, and those are I don't even need to own those movies.
Yeah.
But for the interesting ones, I think this is definitely.
Watching the behind the scenes for Evil Dead reboot was pretty good. Having to figure out the things they did for the scope of some of those scenes, especially the raining blood scene. I mean, like wow, that took like days to film.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching this or listening to it. If you haven't yet, subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/MagicApeTV or just MagicApeTV.com. Also, you can subscribe to the audio version, the podcast of this, on iTunes and Stitcher, and find us in some of the discussions on there. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/MagicApeTV, and you can write to us at magicapetv@gmail.com. Keep commenting on the videos, and if you happen to be watching this as one of our South Korean viewers who's clicked over from Train to Busan.
Our big boost in South Korean viewers.
Yeah,
thanks to Train to Busan.
Thank you for watching from them too.
Please tell us what you want to review.
Yeah,
anything in wide release or not so wide release.
Yeah, as the summer comes to an end, we'll be doing these less often. Just coming with the big films coming out, like especially like Rogue One or any of the Marvel films, things like that. But if there is a film that you just is not getting attention, or that you're looking at and you think, I don't know if that's going to be good or not, let us know and we'll be guinea pigs for you.
Yeah.
We'll watch
we watch the bad movies, so you don't have to.
Yeah. Anyway, good night.